Good evening, lecturer and all lovely classmates. The evening is a good time that our group can have an opportunity to make a presentation on topic why tourism become a global phenomenon. Before we start our presentation, we would like to introduce our group member. Em Say Bun Liang.
Hello teacher and hello class. My name is May Kim Huot.
I'm Hơi Trần Thị.
Hello teacher and hello everyone. My name is Recessions.
Hello, I am Chun Nakana.
Hello, my name is Rani. Here are our contents. Number 1, in what way is tourism changing? Number 2, what influences tourism trends? And number 3, why is tourism regional fluctuation subject to?
For the number of people who travel in Greece previously undiscovered tourist destinations become more popular. In just 10 years, tourists in Kenya almost increased 10 times. People always visited Kenya for ecotourism. Example is that Kenya, small with 18 bed eco-lot, is decorated with environmentally friendly. For vegetable garden, they use composting organic waste and implementing water bottle scheme. The lot use low energy bulb using solar power. They also protect the wildlife, and for the visitors staying in there, they can view and see the nature and animals surrounding there. The right thing here shows about the international tourist arrival of some part of the world and the world. Since 1980, international tourism has become more increasingly diverse. As we look to the line that grow vertically with the other line. For example, look to the green line presenting the Asia and Pacific on the graph. We see it start increase after 1980, and in 2004 it was getting higher than America. According to UNWTO, that it is United Nations agency responsible for the promotion of responsible, sustainable, and universally accessible tourism. Well believe that all regions will receive more tourists, and Asia and Pacific will continue to be the fastest growing region for international tourism. There are unevenly distribution of the origin and destination tourists all over the world. Most of tourists origin from the more developed countries such as Europe and North America, but from China, India and Brazil, which is rapid developing country in Asia Pacific, there are increasing more international tourists from there too. The flowline map shows about type of thematic map that use linear symbol to represent movement. The gray line meaning the tourist more than 10 million, and the red meaning the tourist 5 to 10 million, and blue line meaning tourist 3 to 5 million, and the spring green so less than 3 million. The figures show the world region and the country belonging to them. The figure is really important. It shows the international tourist arrival by region in 2014. The region classified by UNWTO. First, we need to know what is ITA and ITO first. ITA is a tourist that is overnight visitor, a visitor who stays at least one night in a collective or private accommodation in the country visited. Same-day visitors are not included. The number of arrivals is not to the number of a person. The same person who makes several trips to a given country during a given period will be counted as a new arrival each time, as well as a person who travels through several countries on one trip is counted as a new arrival each time. And the second is ITO. ITO cover all tourism receipts resulting from expenditure made by visitor arrival from abroad.
Domestic tourism. Domestic tourism can be described as tourism involving a resident of one country traveling within their own country. It does not involve the crossing of international borders at entry points. Domestic tourism helps address seasonality within regions, while also displaying tourists to less visited rural areas, which tend to be overlooked by foreign visitors. While countries often tend to focus on international tourism due to the revenue earned through exports, domestic tourism remains the leading form of tourism, representing an important tool for region economic growth and development. In that, government use domestic tourism as a tool to eliminate local poverty, generate employment and economic growth, upgrade infrastructure and alleviate pressure from overcrowding through, for instance, discretionary pricing policies and provision of non-wage tourism benefit. Furthermore, domestic tourism is the key driver of the tourism sector globally, accounting for 73% of total travel and tourism spending in 2010 and 2017. In 2010, there are 83% of all tourist arrivals were domestic tourism and 69% of all overnight stay in hotel were represented by domestic. For example, in 2010, Philippines is the country where domestic tourism plays a major role. In this regard, we can see that international tourism receipts in Philippines were $3.2 billion. Domestic tourism receipts were $22.9 billion. There are 53% of domestic travelers travel for holiday and 36% of domestic travelers travel to visit family and relatives. Another example is China. China had been extremely successful in fostering domestic tourism, outperforming all other countries in domestic spending growth thanks to its growing middle class and government support. China was the leading domestic tourism market, up from first position in 2008, having accounted for 62% of absolute growth in that period. Now, let's take a look at evolution of mass tourism to niche tourism. Since the 1950s, tourism has evolved into several forms. In that, ships, buses, and airplanes can move considerably faster while carrying more people, leading to mass tourism and long-haul destinations. In terms of increase in transportation networks, rising money has vast development for niche tourism, which focuses on activities that are not obtainable in mass tourism. Here are some forms of tourism. First, mass tourism. Second, package holiday. Third, niche tourism. And the different forms of tourism can also be classified in terms of distance. First, short-haul destination, and second, long-haul destination. The first form of tourism is mass tourism. Mass tourism refers to the movement of a large number of organized tourists to popular holiday destinations for recreational purposes. It is a phenomenon which is characterized by the use of standardized packaged product and mass consumption. The second form of tourism is package holidays. Package holidays have been a popular kind of tourism since the 1970s. Such tourism entails a tour which is normally organized by a travel agent and includes transportation, accommodation, and food. The service of guides who speak the local language is included in package holiday as well. And the last form of tourism is niche tourism. Niche tourism is defined as tourism focused on a certain place, passion, or activity. It can be performed independently or in a combination with a package tour. In this regard, we can see that ecotourism is a form of niche tourism. It involves visiting natural regions that have been damaged. Its goal is to enable visitors experience natural beauty and biodiversity more deeply. It also has other goals such as raising funds for environmental conservation, enabling tourists to directly help local communities, and encouraging respect for diverse cultures and lifestyle. The International Ecotourism Society outlines its principle of ecotourism. It has minimized impact, build environmental and cultural awareness and respect, provide positive experience for both visitor and host, provide direct financial benefits for conservation, provide financial benefit and empowerment for local people, and the last raise sensitivity to host country political, environment, and social climate. The final form of tourism is about the difference between short-haul destination and long-haul destination. In terms of short-haul destination, refer to destinations that are only a short distance from a tourist home country and are usually accessible by car, bus, train, or a flight lasting less than 5 hours. Hong Kong, for example, is a short distance flight from Singapore. And long-haul destinations are those which are far away from tourist home country and can only be reached by a flight of 5 hours or more. Europe, for instance, would be considered a long-distance destination from Singapore due to the travel time of 12 to 15 hours.
What influences tourism trend? Tourism trend can be influenced by different factors. Here are some questions which a person should ask themselves before he or she starts to find information concern for trip on his or her holiday. First, why would make you choose one destination over another? Second, what would make you stay away from a destination? And the last question, what would make you decide to go on a holiday at all? To answer this question, each visitor might give some reason on travel expenses, travel budget, travel time, or the type of attraction. Travel expenses, they will consider on living expenses during their trip in consists of food, accommodation, local transport, and various spend. Travel budget is cost conscious and fly area. And for travel time, focus on the specific period of time when travelers plan to live according to their budget package. Whereas the type of attraction traveler also learns about cleanliness and security of the place as well in order to get comfortable personally. All the reasons above, it brings global tourism growth and make millions of people travel a year because of three factors. First, development in technology. Second, demand factor. And the last, destination factor. Development in technology provides an easy way for airline companies to process their business with computer-related technology. Technology has changed the scale and ease of global tourism. One thing is also make better and affordable transport. Development in technology have led to great improvement in safety, shorter traveling time, and lower cost for the average person, and it's also become more affordable. Here is the example of better and affordable transport. We will compare features of airplane in 1950 and in the present. In 1950, every visitor from Singapore to London has to take 2 or 4 days with many stopovers at different cities to reach their destination. By the way, now from Singapore to London, airline can fly non-stop at least 14 hours. They can arrive at the destination. More air routes and agreements. Every country will not be allowed to airline of any country across their country without any agreements and policies. Therefore, all countries' leaders work hard to create key factors that help the growth of global tourism through open sky agreement and deregulation. Open sky agreement is a key factor that has helped budget airlines succeed and help boost tourist numbers. For instance, Singapore has had an open sky agreement with the USA since 2001. A Singapore commercial airline can make a stopover in the USA on its way to a third country, such as Mexico. The same can be done by a commercial airline based in the USA. A USA commercial airline can make a stopover in a third country, such as Japan, on its way to Singapore. The same can be done by a commercial airline based in Singapore. Deregulation is also another key factor that helps increase tourist number. It's allowing fare to rise and fall according to market demand and according to competition between various airline companies. The final point of development in technology is ease of access to information. This ease of access to information have helped promote their travel and global tourism. Technological improvement has many benefits such as online booking and research, and surveillance, electronic check, and other safety control research. Online booking and research enable travelers to buy their own ticket without going through travel agents, give tourists more options and control, give tourists better to information at their destination, including flexibility, social etiquette to observe and train timetable, allow travelers to view feedback and recommendation from other travelers, and enable travelers to do research to find out more about their destination. And surveillance, electronic check, and other safety control research make tourists feel safer and more confident about traveling. Demand factors are in turn affected by tourist profile. Tourist profile refers to the lifestyle, habits, and character of tourists visiting a place. Demand factors influence people's ability to travel. They also influence people's desire to purchase tourism-related goods and services. Demand factors in tourism include disposable income, leisure time, and changing lifestyles. Disposable income is the amount of income left to an individual after taxes have been paid. It is the amount of income available for saving and spending. The growth in income has allowed people to spend more on goods, services, or activities that improve their quality of life. Leisure time is the part of a day, week, or year when people have no work commitment. It becomes a time for relaxation. In Australia, for instance, many employees can exchange paid overtime work for leave. This increases their chance of taking longer weekend breaks. And in Canada, there has also been an increase in additional break and extended weekend. Changing lifestyle. Changing lifestyle refers to the change in the way people live throughout their lifetime and from generation to generation. The pace of life today is much faster. Many people in the workplace find themselves spending long hours at the workplace beyond the official working hour. Therefore, traveling has become a way for people to relax and take a break from their fast-paced lifestyle at work or at home. In contrary, retirees are major contributors at the growth of tourism.
Thank you, Bonjanti, for your explanation. Now let's go to talking about destination factor. Destination factor refer to the infrastructure and service in tourist destinations that allow for more convenient and comfortable stay for tourists. In general, the factor have take as attraction, investment, infrastructure and service, and access to the information. Attraction. An attraction is a feature or quality that make a place interesting or enjoyable. The attraction is often promoted and enhanced by the tourist industry to attract even more tourists. Some attractions are natural, while others are built. Place of scenic beauty are examples of the natural attraction. For example, in Cambodia, Angkor Wat is an attractive place because it has a century-old history and ecological park was awarded the UNESCO World Heritage Site honor in 1992, and it has set up a wide-ranging program to safeguard the symbolic and surrounding. According to the UNESCO, it is the one of the most important ecological sites in Southeast Asia. And also, Angkor Wat welcomed approximately 2 million visitors from around the world. And ecological park board, the incredible remind of the different capital of the Khmer Empire from 9th to 15th century, and has many different ancient urban places testify to the Khmer Empire. That's why Angkor Wat is the attractive place in Cambodia. Now let's go to talking about investment in infrastructure in Swiss. Tourist attractions require like investment in infrastructure in Swiss. Infrastructure refers to the transport and communication network, electrical framework, and system for water and waste disposal. Swiss are a particular type of work that is improved by a business to the customer. A type of transportation infrastructure need for tourists is airport expansion and development. Favor tourists would visit a place if its airport cannot manage the growth in air passenger traffic. Country will also need to develop road and airway link to places in nearby countries. In our country, transportation infrastructure is not good enough, but we are improved such as better and more airport, communication system, and electricity. In terms of service, tourist sites require food outlet, entertainment, and telecommunication link to other places in the world. For example, of the telecommunication link include free Wi-Fi in most hotel rooms and lobbies. In addition, a tourist site needs to train personnel, hotel manager, restaurant guide, travel agent, driver, porter, and cleaner. Many countries rely the value of formal training for people who work in the tourist industry to meet the demand for training. The country offers tertiary and diploma courses on tourism, hotel management, and catering. Access to information. Access to information refers to the ease with which information can be obtained. Tourists are more likely to visit a destination when travel-related information is easy to obtain both outside and within a destination. For example, information on transport route and schedule, weather conditions, and available accommodation. Tourists also want to have access to information in language that they can understand. The language is often used English. When tourists do not speak the local language, they may require interpretation. For this reason, signs found in many tourist destinations are displayed in different languages. sign can help provide security and comfort to visitors. It assures tourists that there are people they can communicate with for help. Local tour guide and travel agents should be trained to answer questions and help meet the needs of tourists. They should also know of local geography, history, and culture to enhance tourist experience.
4. Why is tourism subject to regional fluctuations? Regional fluctuations refer to rapid change in a region's situation or condition which causes by disaster, regional and global recessions, unfavorable political situation, and outbreak of disease. 1. The cause of disaster. Disaster is the event that causes great damage to properties, leads to acute or the cause great loss of life. It is correct tourists for visiting that it poses the great risk to the safety of the tourists and disrupt essential tourist infrastructure. For example, earthquake and tsunami will occur which caused nuclear meltdown in Tohoku in March 2011. The earthquake occurred and continued decreased 28% to 6.2 million the number of international tourists at the end of 2011. Two, the cause of regional and global recessions. Recessions is a period of general slowdown in economic activities. People may have experienced a loss of income or jobs, so they cut down on the spending, which leads to a decline in demand for goods and services. Therefore, they are less likely to travel overseas during a recession. Regional recessions is regional when it affects only a region or the group of countries. For example, European sovereign debt crisis. The crisis started in 2010 when the Greek was unable to repay its government debt. Since then, the European countries such as Ireland, Portugal, and Spain has also sought help in repaying their government debt. In crisis has affected many the countries that use the euro as their national currency, resulting in the collapse of the businesses and the financial institutions and the massive unemployment. For global recessions, global recession is when it affects many countries around the world. For example, global financial crisis. The crisis started when some of the world's largest financial firms went bankrupt in 2007 and 2008. These firms collapsed after losing the large amount of their investment in the crash of the housing market in the United States. The collapse of the housing market triggered panic in the most financial institutions around the world. It affected many countries in different parts of the world, causing their economy to slow down or shrink. In summary, there are four main causes that affect recession on the tourism. One is decrease in international tourists. 2. Reduced spending by tourists. 3. Likely increase in domestic travel. And the last is increased unemployment.
3. Unfavorable political situation.
When there is a war or any harmful to the humanity, the tourists may postpone or cancel their travel plan because the conflict in the country may pose danger to tourists and they may avoid visiting the place during that period due to the fear of their safety. On the other hand, the conflict or political may cause disruption to services and damage to the infrastructure, so the country will lose appearing and be a dangerous place for tourism. Furthermore, an airport in affected area may also be closed to incoming and outgoing flights, so tourists may unable to visit. For example, during a war in Ukraine and the Russian country, it has been destroyed many places in Ukraine, and it is a hard situation for Ukraine to attract more tourists to visit the country even the war ends, since they need to spend time and money to rebuild the infrastructure. That is why unfavorable political situation may lead to the reduction of tourism rate in the country. Four, outbreak of disease. As we already know, during the time of disease outbreaking, the number of tourism will drop as they will be changing their destination to a safety country to avoid getting infected with a contagious disease. That is why the outbreaking country should inform or report officially for the traveler to avoid areas with disease outbreak. For example, the new disease of COVID-19 that has been a vast explosive related to the decreasing of tourism in each country. During that time, most of the country was closing their airline gate to avoid or prevent from the infected traveler. As a result, the outbreak of COVID-19 has been affected the traveling plane, which may reduce the tourism rate. Here are the photos below show the differences before and after the outbreak of disease. And here are our group reference. The some information we got from the book and some are from the internet.
Now we have already finished our presentation. Thank you for paying your attention. Wish lecturer and all classmates good health, good luck, and stay safe.